listeners. I hope you are all well. If you want to hear various supernatural, mysterious, and ghostly true stories that happen in people's lives, please subscribe to our channel. And if you like this video, please give it a like and share it with your friends. The story I am about to tell you now was sent to us by Hridoy. The incident happened to two of his close relatives. A terrifying event occurred with the father of one of these relatives, which he witnessed as a child. The incident took place at his relative's house in Muladi village, Boful Upazila, Patuakhali district. The event was around 1980, when the relative was 22 years old.
His father was very ill. They showed him to a village healer, but the healer advised taking him to a good doctor in the city as soon as possible, as there were no good doctors in the villages back then. His father was very ill. They showed him to a village healer, but the healer advised taking him to a good doctor in the city as soon as possible, as there were no good doctors in the villages back then.
The city was about 25 kilometers away. Since it was a riverine area, they had to travel by boat. The only means of communication was the river. There were no good roads either. When he set off with his father, he took his father's body and started back home. As he crossed the large river and guided the boat into the canal, he noticed the boat was no longer moving. The boat was stuck in the mud. When the boat got stuck, it was around 6:30 p.m., so high tide would come after 6 hours. It was winter and it was pitch dark all around. Looking up at the sky, he could see moonlight, and that night the moonlight was very bright. The boat was stuck in a desolate place. There was no one else in the boat, just his father's body and him. To the left of the canal, a little distance away was an abandoned cremation ground, and to the right was a dense jungle. The jungle had several large banyan trees. In the dark of night, they looked like gigantic monsters. Several bats hung from the branches of the banyan trees. There wasn't much fog. In the moonlight, those bats were also vaguely but clearly visible. The place was so secluded that if any small sound reached his ears, his heart would pound. In fear, he touched his father's body and sat beside him. He could only wait for the high tide. There was no other way. He covered his father's body with a sheet. As the night deepened, his fear intensified. He felt as if something would emerge from the jungle and grab them. Suddenly, the boat rocked slightly. It felt as if something had climbed onto his deceased father's neck. He removed his hand from his father's cold body. He recited prayers as much as he could, but it felt like the fear was not lessening. He wanted to scream, "Help! Help!" But he also knew that from where he was, even if he screamed, his cries would not reach anyone. He could neither leave nor stay. In such a situation, even his deceased father looked frightening. But what could he do? He had to wait for the high tide, otherwise he couldn't move the boat from there. When it was around 11 p.m., he suddenly saw a shadow emerging from behind the banyan tree. The closer it came, the more it resembled a human figure. When it came very close to the boat, he saw that it looked just like a normal human being. The person asked him, "Are you going that way?" By that way, he pointed in the direction he was trying to go with his father's body, towards his home. He said, "Yes, I am going that way." He noticed that the person was wrapped in a sheet, and his face was also covered by the sheet. The person gestured in the direction they were going. He still hadn't seen the person's face.
He didn't even feel like asking why this person was there in this dense jungle at such a late hour, because his father lay dead in the boat, and he was overwhelmed with grief for his father. The thought of asking anyone about these matters didn't even cross his mind. Or even if it did, he didn't feel like asking.
Around 12 a.m., when the high tide came, he started rowing the boat. As the boat moved forward, a smell started to reach his nose. Gradually, the intensity of the smell increased. Some water hyacinths, banana trees, and a bloated body of a dead cow were entangled together, blocking the boat in such a way that no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't move the boat forward. He was forced to get out of the boat and pull it with a rope in the water. After pulling for about 5 minutes, when he came close to the boat, what he saw was a sight that no human being, let alone a child, could bear to witness. He saw that the person who was sitting on the boat had put his hand into his father's chest and was trying to pull out organs from inside the body. When he saw this scene, he became extremely angry. Without thinking twice, he grabbed the oar and struck the person violently on the head. When the person turned to look at him, he saw that the person's face was human-like, but the mouth was very long. Normally, a human face is not that long. What he did was, when the person opened his mouth to rebuke him, he shoved the front part of the oar into the person's mouth and pushed hard. With this push, the person fell into the water. He struck the person's body repeatedly with the oar in the water and shouted, "If you have the courage, come up and show yourself. Who are you?" "I'll see what a great fiend you are. You came to eat my father's body in front of me? As a son, I will never let that happen. If you want to do this, you'll have to do it over my dead body. Come on, let's see how much courage you have." The person did not resurface. In the moonlight, he could see the person's blood-soaked, hairy hand. The blood on his hand was so clotted that it didn't wash off even in the water. The person's nails were very long. When his face became clear in the moonlight, his eyes were sunken, and a blue glow seemed to emanate from them. Seeing this, his throat and chest dried up with fear. He also saw that the person's teeth were reddish, small, and sharp. While he was shouting like this, since it was high tide, another boat was approaching from a distance. They had a flashlight. Hearing the shouts, they also sped up their boat to see what had happened. When they rushed over, he explained everything to them. After hearing everything, when they went to look at his father's body, they saw that his words were indeed true. A large hole had formed on his father's chest because that human-like fiend had put his hand inside his chest through this hole.
The blood stains on his father's chest had not yet dried. Those people escorted him to their home. Following normal customs, the body was washed, funeral prayers were held, and he was buried. This incident is a well-known story in that area, which Hridoy Bhai shared with us.
Dear listeners, I hope you also liked this story. It is quite common for such incidents to occur when someone is traveling alone with a body at night. We have heard many such incidents. Now, we have heard another one. I hope, Hridoy Bhai, you will send us more stories. Best wishes to you.
If you liked this video, please give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. And press the bell icon next to it so you don't miss the next episode. See you again in the next episode.